Happy Wednesday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Head to any Circle K Arizona location where you get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents now through September 3rd.
And of course, as we lead up to game day, in just 3 days, our coverage is brought to you by Coach Stark Homes. Are you in the market for a home? If so, get a hold of Coach Stark today. He's going to help you out. You can get in touch with him at 623-695-3929. Go to CoachStarkHomes.com or follow him at Coach Stark Homes.
Let this play, man. It's so damn good. I'm Anthony Totri, joined as always by Erik Ruby. We got DJ Coop behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We have a lot on the menu today. We're going to be hearing from Wyoming's head coach. A lot of things to say about some specific Arizona State players and the coaching staff. We're also going to be breaking down Arizona State's defensive matchups and mismatches against that Wyoming offense. Everything under the sun that you can expect to see on Saturday night. Erik.
We're almost there. We're so close.
We're 3 days away, man.
We're so close.
We're 3 days
We
away.
got football, Big 12 football, Colorado football tomorrow.
Woo-wee!
We're
I'm
manifesting certain things.
I'm pumped. Bear Down Cast 96. What you sipping on today? Told you. I'm sipping on a whole lot of just
Hopium.
nothing. Just hopium?
Hopium.
Hopium. Okay. Sure. Why not? I mean,
Sure.
I'm not, I got no drink in my cup right now. Okay. Nothing. Got a whole lot of nothing. I got some agua. That's about
I'm
it.
drinking water if you
drinking
care,
water?
but he didn't ask.
Any electrolytes in that thing?
No, it's just water.
No, just water.
I'm just a straight water kind of
Just
guy.
a straight water kind of. That
Yeah.
is the least surprising thing that I think.
Yeah.
You strike me as somebody that gets like a white Gatorade.
No.
No, you're
No.
not that kind of crazy.
No. I don't drink anything unless I buy from Circle K.
They have white Gatorades.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm not. If I have to pick a Gatorade, Glacier Freeze.
Glacier Freeze, okay. The blue one's the right answer.
The orange one. Orange one goes
orange
crazy.
one.
Orange one goes crazy. You know, those are my top two choices.
Okay, sure. I'll let you have that.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to have my
yeah,
opinions.
it's what I do. I got to approve all of the things.
Yeah, before I eat anything. People
Before
don't
you
know
got
this.
married, I had to say okay.
People don't know this because I owe my entire life to Anthony Totri.
Yeah.
And so therefore any decision I make, minor to major, what I'm going to eat today, what I'm going to wear, I have to pass it along his way.
That's fair.
And you know what? My life's gotten so much better because of it.
You're welcome,
The
buddy.
lack of free choice and free will has really enlightened me.
Glenn in the chat just got done with 18 holes. Got a kilt lifter. So who's sacking the Arizona kid for Wyoming on Saturday?
Oh, we'll talk about that.
18 holes Wednesday afternoon. That sounds fire. That sounds absolutely fire. Guys, whether you're coming from Facebook or you're coming from Twitter, you're coming from our YouTube, do us a solid. Hit the share button too, wherever you got it. Okay, let's get some more people in the chat getting ready for this Arizona State season opener on Wednesday. Again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review. We got BC, we got Will in the chat here. Now, they're just talking about being Sun Devils and Gatorade flavors at this point. So let's go ahead. Let's get into some of these matchups. Let's go ahead. Let's start with the quarterback, wide receivers, and tight end for Wyoming going up against that Arizona State secondary. Erik, this is an ASU secondary that we feel could be the strongest unit in terms of corners and safeties on the team, point blank, period. You know, you've got Javan Robinson, Cole Martin. Sun Devil fans are going to get their first look at those guys.
Xavier Alford.
Exactly. On the back end, Xavier Alford, Shamari Simmons. You're going to see Kamari Wilson, Montana Warren. That secondary, I think, should have its way.
And before we get into actual, gameplay, to speak on that, Headspace Episode 2 tomorrow, 4 p.m.
Let's go.
Cole Martin, special guest, Xavier Alford.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
X and Cole.
100-yard landlord.
The season. 100-yard landlord. Make sure you keep your eye out for that one. It's going to be in your audio feed. It's going to be on this channel, 4 o'clock tomorrow. Sorry, let's get back to the game.
I mean, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. So, yeah, it is going to be Arizona State's first real look at those players.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we've had the luxury of being in camp and kind of seeing what they can do. Keith Abney obviously going to be starting out there as well. You're going to see a lot of rotation, I think, at that safety position, just in terms of what Arizona State secondary is going to be going up against. We talked a little bit, I believe, on Monday with Ralph about Wyoming's quarterback, Evan Svoboda. 6'5", 245 pounds. He is an absolute unit of a quarterback. He's got a little bit I don't want to say he's a crazy athlete, but he is maybe more athletic than you would think. Last season, didn't do anything too crazy. Completed 22 of his 36 passes, $184, one INT, no touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then on the ground, 20 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown. So there's not a whole lot of tape on this kid at the college level, but anytime you've got a quarterback that is that size, he is going to be a little bit of a problem to bring down, especially if they utilize him in a little bit of a way that's getting him moving and mobile.
6'5", 245 is like the Anthony Totri.
I mean, it's just slightly smaller than me, but it still gets it done.
But, this is not a team that I'm expecting to try to light it up, throwing it downfield. I'm sure they're going to have to mix some stuff in there every once in a while. But, losing their wide receivers and having a quarterback with not a ton of experience, but is a big body. This is the type of team that I feel like is just going to be running. Yeah. I know you tweeted out a stat about their run game and everything. We can get to that in a little bit. But I'm not worried about this receiving threat. I'm not really worried about them air attack. I think it's just one of those things where you can't forget. You can't just expect them never to do it, because that's when you get, your head taken off 35 yards down the field and it's a surprise touchdown because you had no idea that was something they had in their bag. But, this secondary is so strong in so many different ways. Like, they're fast, they're physically strong, they're smart as hell, comfortable in the system. Again, we've talked about the defense over and over and over again. It's going to be nice for this defense to not have to worry about kind of like this dual threat. Like, oh man, we have to give equal brain power to the passing game and the running game. And so this passing game, if they end up getting carved up and they end up giving up a lot of yards, I think that's going to open up a couple of questions. It would probably just be because they don't take it seriously and that they just don't expect it.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona State, in all honesty, they're expecting, obviously, a lot of the ground game, a lot of running from Wyoming, which is no secret. This is a team in Wyoming that loves to pound the rock. We'll get into the running backs and the run game in general just a little bit later in the show. But in terms of this quarterback, like, he is not going to really have his work cut out for him. This is a wide receiver group that lost its top 3 wide receivers from last season. Right now, their top returning wide receiver is Alex Brown, who had 8 catches last year. Not a whole lot of experience at this level.
Who had more yards, him or the next Big 12 greatest running back, Cam Cook?
Cam Cook, probably.
58?
Yeah.
I'm never letting that go.
Cam Cook, baby. But one thing that you can't expect from Wyoming's wide receivers is that they are going to be big. They're going to be physical at the line of scrimmage when it comes to run blocking. Again, this is an offense that thrives on being able to shorten the game, right? Take away multiple possessions from an opposing team, keep the game kind of in their control, in their pace. And then at the very end of the game, when you're tired, your defense is kind of winded, they've got enough running backs in that backfield where they can just continue to wear you down. Play action pass is where I think you're going to see Svoboda probably lean on the pass game.
Sure.
I don't anticipate him coming out in the gun and just absolutely heaving it all over the field, kind of like you said.
If he does, that's going to be quite the shock.
Now, they do have an interesting tight end, John-Michael Geilenborg.
Great tight end name.
Half cyborg, half Geilenborg. So nice mid-range tight end. Finished second on the team with 31 catches last season. But that's really it for experience. Again, 31 catches last year. Not great overall for a wide receiver unit. This is a Wyoming team, yes, with a new offensive coordinator coming from Michigan State, who we've already talked a little bit in the past, is pretty familiar with Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt. But at the end of the day, this passing game shouldn't be too much of a problem for Arizona State. And it's interesting because ASU has the advantage here. I think you're going to look to some of these returners on this Arizona State defense. It's a CJ Fight, who we'll talk a little bit later on in the show. And then, of course, a guy in the back end like Shamari Simmons to really have a big game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is nice for the returning players as well, because you're not going up against some super big threatening passing attack, and it's your second year in the system, and you're going to be a little bit more comfortable. But it's also great for the players like Xavier and Alford, who haven't played in over 1,000 days, and even Cole Martin as well, who is going into a role where he's going to be playing a lot. Right. And it's a system that he wasn't playing in last year. It's game number 1. It kind of allows you to get in this rhythm and also not have this fear in the back of your mind that you're going to get targeted over and over again. And not that they're not confident they can shut that down, but when you can kind of focus on less things to start the season, it's easier to get your footing. And I'm really, really hoping that's what we see. I continue to say I think this is the perfect week 1 matchup for Arizona State. I think they're just good enough to keep you on your toes. They are who they are in the best and the worst way possible, where their weaknesses are very clear, but their strengths are very clear. So I feel like you can have a very not a wide lens of focus. You're very just tunnel vision.
What you got to focus on.
Tunnel vision. Yeah, you can kind of have tunnel vision, right? And I expect some pretty big performances from the secondary of all of it. Defensive line and some more people up front. I think it's a little bit just closer just because Wyoming plays that smash mouth football. Yeah. They're going to be tested a lot more. Like you said, you're going to get a lot more tired up on that front 7, and you're going to get a lot more tired just having to defend the run 80% of the time. But the secondary should have a strong game, should see some really good individual performances. Hopefully can get some takeaways, get some momentum in that room, something they lacked last year as well. I need to see it.
That's fair.
Give me the game, man.
That's fair.
Give me the game.
I'm super pumped about it. Wyoming's coach, Jay Sawvel, he spoke a couple days ago just specifically.
That's such a Wyoming.
It is
coach
a Wyoming
name.
coach name. He spoke on Monday just about some players that stand out to him on this Arizona State roster. And of course, 2 of which are on that Arizona State defense.
I think number 7, Shamari Simmons, is an extremely good player. Very physical, very fast. Is very impactful in a number of different ways. They brought in a number of transfers, and so to comment on a lot of those, it's a little bit more difficult. I do know, we had seen Keyshaun Elliott, a linebacker that came from New Mexico State. We saw him multiple different times because we had crossover games from when New Mexico State had played other opponents, and so we're aware that he's a very good player. And from what they talk and hear, that you hear from people that they feel good with the front pieces that they've added, and so this will be a big challenge for us there.
Everybody loves Keyshaun Elliott. Everybody loves Keyshaun Elliott, and for good reason. Really good season in New Mexico last year, but also the fact that he is strong, fast, smart. He could end up at the end of the day, look back and say, yeah, that guy was clearly the best player on this defense.
Yeah,
clearly.
I think, and we'll get into Keyshaun Elliott a little bit more when we talk about the linebackers versus the running backs. But I think, again, going back to Shamari Simmons, this is a guy that being able to return, be a leader in the secondary. You obviously got Xavier Alford, who's super, super eager to play. You got some of these other safeties, a Miles Rouser, a Kamari Wilson. And Shamari's really stepping up not only on the back end, but being able to fill the void left by Mason Williams and kind of that nickel rotation. It's going to be him. It's going to be a guy like Cole Martin rotating there. So Shamari Simmons having a giant impact last year for Arizona State and going to have a big impact this year for the Sun Devils as well. Glenn in the chat, is that Cronin, the UCLA coach? That is honestly a great comp. They look so damn similar. It's kind of crazy. Short Bus, someone sounds scared. You should have heard him. We don't have the clip here, but you should have heard the way that he was kind of answering the question about Wyoming's depth. Like it didn't sound like he was too thrilled with the depth on the interior of their defensive line. Their corners, he didn't really say a whole lot about. Wide receiver, like he's like, we're still kind of waiting for these guys to like step up into the roles. Like
ASU
that could be great for
ASU
Wyoming.
should win this game.
They should win this game.
They should not take this game lightly, but at the same time, 2 things can be true at the same time. They should win this game. And just while we're on the topic of comparing what coaches look like,
oh, God.
I'm not going to say exactly. I sent you a text yesterday.
You did send me a text.
Brent Venables looks like maybe a recent Arizona State head coach who is now disgraced.
You gonna leave it at that?
If you changed a couple things.
Okay.
So go look up Brent Venables and let me know who you think he looks like. Be creative.
Dear Lord.
Use your imagination.
That's fair.
Anyways, ASU should win this game. Ralph said it when he was on with us on Monday.
Better team,
way more depth, better athletes, better investment, better everything. The ASU is by far and away the better team. They should be the better team. They should win this game, but that does not mean that Wyoming is not somebody that you can go in and just sleepwalk against a victory. That's the type of team that if you do just sit back and go, la-di-da, we're going to win, who cares? You are going to get punched in the mouth. And
you're right.
You don't want to get punched in the mouth right off the start.
Well, look, we're going to go through all of these matchups, right, for the Arizona State defense. But overall, as a unit, Arizona State's defense is going to be the reason why they ultimately win this game, in my estimation. The Arizona State defense is going to be miles better than that Wyoming offense in most phases, right? Specifically at that secondary spot versus the wideouts and the pass catchers and the quarterback. I think that's clearly an advantage to Arizona State. We're going to talk about where the Sun Devils have another advantage here in just a second. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Guys, first and foremost, let's keep it real. Nobody does it better than Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They've got 4 different locations, and we've got ourselves a fantasy football draft tomorrow night, Thursday, Wild Horse Pass Casino. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a whole production.
Yeah,
for this
I'll
thing.
be producing. We're going to get the podium. We're going to have intro videos. New producers Kyle and Kevin are going to be in there as well. It is going to be quite some time. There's already shit talk going around the office. Kevin, who is our new producer, he's producing a lot of Wildcat stuff and hockey stuff today.
So he's a traitor.
He on air said he's Deefin locking. Shane is in last place.
That's crazy. That is a crazy lock.
Chaos ensued. Shane had some things to say. Leah had some things to say. Saul had some things to say.
Everybody has something to say.
If you can't come to Wild Horse Pass, which you absolutely should if you're able to come, it's going to be such a fun time.
Yeah.
You rarely get all the PHNX personalities in one place. You get that at this one. But we're going to have the live stream as well. Petey is going to be on commentary for everything. I might, throw some shade as well.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you can't make it out to the fantasy draft, well, that's okay. Definitely go check it out and go all in. Okay. With over 4,500 slots and live table games, or catch all the action at any of those Gila River Resorts, casino, sports books. Go big and go home a winner. From upscale to approachable, casual to classy, from bar to bar none. They have it all with their dining options over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. And look, they're going to be hosting events there all year, including Cardinals and Suns watch parties and more. So stay tuned for more info on how to come hang with everybody at PHNX over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
Sorry I left you hanging there. I know you can do you and you can carry it. I had to go get myself my Shady Rays. Protect my eyes, baby, because nobody does it better than Shady Rays. Listen, 300,000 people, okay?
It's a lot.
If I told you 300,000 people rated a product 5 stars, you would tell me that product is probably what, Anthony Totri?
I'd say pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's probably a 5-star product. Listen, that is Shady Rays, an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product. They have hundreds of styles to choose from, a style in your favorite team's colors, and you can own your own experience with Shady Rays. Listen, I love how they protect my eyes. I love the fit. These are durable. I am notorious for breaking my sunglasses or losing them, but my Shady Rays are so valuable. I'm always keeping track of them, and they are not breaking, and I love them. And here's the thing. If you buy a pair and you don't love your shades, for whatever reason, maybe you made the wrong decision. You said, I thought these were going to look good on my face, and they didn't. You can take it back. You can exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. If your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, you don't have to sweat it. The most insane protection in all of eyewear, backed by a lost or broken replacement. Listen, and exclusively for our listeners, you get 35% off. Shady Rays giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com. Use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. I was doing so good until I said try as tries in plural. But
just listen to the blind mouse over here.
Listen.
Okay, whenever he speaks, you listen. That's all we're saying. Okay, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review if you haven't already. And look, Wyoming's coach, okay, Jay Sawvel, in that clip earlier, he talked about Shamari Simmons and he talked about your guy, Keyshaun Elliott. Let's go ahead. Let's get into these Arizona State linebackers going up against I would say the bread and butter of this Wyoming offense for the last several years, and it's been those running backs. However, if everybody was healthy, I think Wyoming might have the advantage here, to be honest with you.
Interesting.
But that's not the case, okay? Wyoming's starting running back, Harrison Whaley, he hasn't necessarily been ruled out from what I have seen, but I can't imagine that he will play. He had knee surgery after getting injured in a scrimmage a couple weeks ago. He was, again, the team's leading rusher last season, 947 yards, 5 scores. He was absolutely an animal last season.
Big part of their identity.
Likely not going to play. So then you go to the second running back.
Sure.
Doesn't look like the second running back. Daywin McNeely, he is doubtful to play as well. Honestly, a guy with great size at this running back position has never really gotten a chance to go out there and be a starter. Would have been a big contributor in 2023 for the Cowboys. Tore his ACL, missed that season. Still coming back from that ACL injury. Wyoming coach Jay Sawvel, again, spoke on Monday just about McNeely's availability.
He's going to practice today, and we'll kind of make a decision on those types of things there. He's been practicing. I had an extended conversation with him the other day that, it's still one of those things that I'm going to make sure that there's not going to be a residual, or that we're all excited because we've got him for a game, and then there's some kind of setback that puts him back for 4 more. And so I want to make sure that he is 1,000% ready, not 100% ready. And so, I would say that that's probably a smaller percentage of that happening for this game. And, and that's still kind of the path, and it's not just me. We go by the medical and everything else too. And I just want to make sure that we're putting a guy out on a field that's got his best chance to be successful.
So, looks like Wyoming's out. Running back 1, running back 2.
And if running back 2 is playing, apparently they're not confident that he's going to be out there confident, which just don't play him. Don't play him.
Yeah. So, Wyoming's backfield, normally a pretty deep group, right?
Sure.
The depth of it and everything. You've got, if everybody's healthy, you've got a stable of really solid running backs. Now it's, North Carolina transfer DJ Jones and Jamari Farrell. Farrell reminds me a lot of Raleek Brown.
Okay.
Smaller, quickish, kind of scat back. Interested to see how they utilize those 2 running backs on Saturday night. Again, don't expect to see either one of those top Wyoming running backs. Again, not to my knowledge, they haven't been officially ruled out, but based off of everything we've seen, based off of recent events, would not expect to see those guys on Saturday, which would be huge for an Arizona State defense that, again, at linebacker is missing their own 2-deep linebacker and Tate Romney out with a broken arm.
Yeah, and if you want to look at Harrison Whaley, again, considering he has been ruled out, I am by no means comparing these injuries or saying that they're the same, but if we're just talking lower body surgeries, Sean Na and the name, I'm blanking on the name right now.
Defensively for ASU? Prince Dorba?
Yeah, Dorba. Yeah, and Dorba, they're going to be out like 2 to 4 weeks past right now. Yeah. So if you're undergoing the knife within the last couple of weeks, you're not playing in week 1. You're just not. Like, you're going to be cautious, and obviously, they're putting it out there that they're going to be cautious with players, whether it's Whaley or whether it's McNeely. They're not going to just put somebody out there because they're physically, technically able to do it.
Yeah.
And part of me is, I'm not upset about it because, again, it technically makes things easier, but then you can kind of get yourself in this lull of, hey, their top 2 running backs are gone, and they're a running team, and their wide receivers are all gone, and their quarterback isn't seasoned, and this and this and this and that. And then I feel like you can kind of, if you're not careful, ease into this game.
Fair.
And I don't expect ASU to do that. This is just more kind of like overall a theme that you have in sports where there's a team that's clearly better. You're clearly favored. The other team goes through injuries, but for some reason, they're so competitive. They're so feisty. There's no tape on this quarterback. There's no tape on this running back. Like, you can kind of fall into a trap of getting caught on your heels.
I think that's fair.
And I don't think this team's going to do that, but that is something that has happened to lots of teams in the past. So you need to be cautious and aware of it, for sure.
I think you definitely need to be cautious and aware of it. I don't think Brian Ward's going to let it get to that point again. Wyoming's going to be without some of their top weapons, which is going to be huge for an Arizona State defense that does have some different pieces than it did last year, trying to get acclimated to this system. I think this, again, sets Arizona State up perfectly to start the season off with a win. We talk about Keyshaun Elliott, the New Mexico State linebacker transfer, Cyrus Viaseu coming over from San Diego State, and then Jordan Crook as well. You're going to see a lot of those transfer linebackers with Tate Romney out. And it sounds like for them, it would be a little bit more of an easier outing than it would be if Whaley and McNeely were playing. So it's going to be good for them to get acclimated. You're probably going to see Kavion Thunderbird, Caleb McCullough, as well as a part of that linebacker rotation, especially if Arizona State jumps out to a really big lead. You're definitely going to see Kavion Thunderbird heading into his second year as an Arizona State Sun Devil. But I think Arizona State, with the current situation that Wyoming has at running back, I think this is a clear advantage in the second level of the defense for the Sun Devils.
Clear advantage in a way that, Wyoming has to run the football to be successful. Wyoming is not going to be a pass-heavy, air raid type of offense.
At least they haven't proven that they can.
And if they are, then that's just going to be that's going to be shocking. And I guess anything is possible. Shout out to Kevin Garnett. But I'd be absolutely shocked if we walk away from Saturday and Wyoming lit it up in the air. That's not how they win football games. That's just not their identity.
So I have a question for you then.
Okay.
So because of these teams aren't healthy.
Sure.
Neither one of them are 100% healthy, right? Which is obviously is tough
football
in college. Yeah, exactly. I would say in a normal case where Whaley and McNeely are playing, your game plan is we're going to load the box. Mm-hmm. We're going to bring in, we're going to, again, just fill the box 7-8, and we're going to force this quarterback to beat us.
Yeah.
But because of the fact that Wyoming's top 2 running backs are likely going to be out in this game, do you take the risk of sitting in a normal defense and the normal 4-2-5 that Arizona State is going to want to play? You don't need to bring up the safeties. Do you sit in that and just kind of play your base defense? Or do you have the ideology, I guess, of just being like, you know what, we were going to load the box anyways. Let's just continue to make sure that this team can't run the football.
I think you're going to give a variety of looks. I think off the back,
I think they will.
Yeah, I think off the bat, you're going to load the box. You're going to kind of stop them from their strength. And even though they have injuries, their identity is run the ball. Mm-hmm. No matter who's there, their identity is run the ball.
What if you were running back?
If I was running back?
Would it still be run the ball?
Oh, no. Wyoming would win like 100-0. It wouldn't even be close.
Okay.
You kidding me? Keyshaun Elliott can't catch me. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. It's a joke. Of course, more people joined as soon as I said that. Absolute joke. I'd get it flattened like a pancake. Okay. Not being serious. But on a serious note, I think you're gonna stack the box at first. You're gonna suffocate the run. You're gonna get them out of a rhythm. And then I think as you get your momentum going, you're gonna start putting some more base defense out there, your more normal looks. And I think you're just gonna try to switch things up, especially if you're up 2, 3, maybe 4 scores 7 years ago. If you start getting ahead of that, you're going to start mixing up a lot of different things. But you need to make them beat you passing a little bit. Yeah. And if they start to do that, then you have the skill and the talent and the scheme to switch that up and to put a stop to that. But until they prove they can do that, suffocate their main identity and see if they can deal with it.
Glenn in the chat, I hear you, Totri. It makes you think. I say first half, just play the base defense. And if they look successful running the ball, then load the box.
That's fair.
I think
both work.
I think in this scenario, as long as you are still in control of the game,
sure.
If you feel like
that's
you're
my
in control,
only concern.
I'm totally comfortable with allowing some of these position groups and putting them in uncomfortable situations against an opposition not in practice, right? We know that this defensive line is going to be a question mark. So maybe we don't load the box. Maybe we just keep the 4 defensive linemen in there and we make them go work for a little bit, right?
I think at some point, yes.
And again, I mean, you could make the same argument on the offense side of the ball. It just really depends, I think, on the control you have in the game. And I totally understand where Sharp West is coming from, too. Get out with a W, major injury-free. That's all I care about, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, listen. I think that you can look at it either way. You can kind of spin it, right? You want to start the game off, not load the box, see if they can beat you, play a more normal defense because maybe that's what you're going to need to be using the next couple of weeks when you're not playing a Wyoming. My only concern with this team, with this game specifically, I have no concern about the talent discrepancy. I have no concern about the coaching discrepancy. I have no concern about, home field. I think it's going to be loud, and I think people are going to really be excited for this team. My concern is you get off on the wrong foot and you don't capture some momentum. And what we have seen in the past is that when momentum kind of goes from a team, especially week 1, especially when you're the better team, and somebody like Wyoming who plays really good teams hard, you don't want to just get in that mode where you're kind of clawing and you're fighting back, right? And so to me, I'm not saying the entire first half, load the box and don't let them do shit like, running the game. I think first possession, suffocate them, and then if they kind of show that they can pick you apart, react off of that. I think you're going to give different looks. You're going to allow them to be in their base defense. You're going to allow them to get reps putting themselves in uncomfortable situations, but I would rather have them do that with some confidence and a couple possessions stopped under their belt than just off the bat not focusing on what a team is primarily really good at and is their entire identity.
Yeah.
If it was a Wyoming offense that was like, they're going to throw it and they're going to pass it and do a little bit of each, then it's not even a question. But it's a Wyoming offense that is built around running the football down your mouth.
Yeah.
And you need to stop that.
Violent look.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to stop that. You need to get them out of their rhythm. And then once you do that, establish yours. That's my philosophy, but I can easily see it going the other way. Glenn's comment, I think, is perfectly valid. Your point is perfectly valid. He says, I want to throw the first punch, which makes sense too. This is a team that hasn't played together. This is a team that has a lot of moving pieces, moving parts. It's the second year of a rebuild. Nobody believes in this team. Like you need to go out there and you need to start strong as hell and make a statement. I don't care who you're playing.
That's almost though why I feel like it's the perfect time to go out there and play to your weaknesses.
Sure.
Almost, right? Because how often has Kenny talked about the only way to win is to learn how to win, right?
Sure.
Is to go through it,
Sure.
to go win games in clutch moments when your back's against the wall. And again, I'm not saying that it's even going to get to this point, but starting off that way, I don't hate that idea of just like, hey, this team, we know they're going to run it up the gut. Let's show that we don't need to load the box,
Sure.
that we've got 4 bad
Sure.
defensive linemen in there that can go just move these offensive linemen who are returners, most of them for Wyoming.
Yeah.
And let's shut them down by themselves, because if you're able to do that, I mean, this game will be over before it even gets started.
I think it's a great point, and I don't think there's a wrong answer here. The wrong answer is doing something that doesn't work. So please do something that works.
Fair.
That makes complete sense. It's almost like, when you play basketball one-on-one with somebody and right off the bat, you're not playing really hard defense and you're kind of getting like a feel out for them. You'd be like, are you going to miss shots if I'm actually going to defend or not? And then they hit a couple shots over, you're like, all right, I'm going to actually like get in your grill and not let you dribble the ball anymore. I get that. But sometimes you just want to go out there and you say, you know what? I'm not going to let you score. I'm going to go up 5-6-0 and then I'm going to start messing around. And your confidence is going to be completely shot.
Yeah.
Right? You know that you have the advantage in so many different realms and so many different ways. And I still think it's an advantage where you can load the box and still have, the edge in the secondary. Right? Like you're not opening yourself up to getting picked apart, especially with the personnel that this team has. I just, momentum is a massive thing for this team. Perception's a massive thing for this team. And for a team that doesn't return a lot of continuity from last year, just going out there and saying, we are going to suffocate you.
Just
and then
go win the
from
football
there.
game.
Like my argument is maybe do what you're saying, like third or fourth defensive possession. Once you've suffocated them a couple times and you have the momentum on your side, hopefully Sam Levitt drives down the other way, leads a scoring drive.
Yeah.
And then at that point you say, we just suffocated you and now we're going to show you that we can do it in other ways too. Right? That's my philosophy. It's not, hey, until the fourth quarter, don't try anything else and play like they're Alabama. You don't need to do that, right? Yeah. But I think you do need to, for at least the first couple of possessions, give them no room to get any momentum from you at home.
I'm fine with that. I'll live with it.
Yeah, listen, you can live with it. And guess what? It is game week, so we're going to talk more about this game just on the other side of this break. But if you would like to go to the game, let me tell you about our friends over at Game Time. I can tell you Game Time has helped me out tremendously in this past week, secured some awesome concert tickets for my lovely wife and her birthday coming up this next month. And I could only do it because of Game Time's low prices and their deals. I found the best spot for me, and maybe music isn't your thing. Maybe you want to go to the ASU game this Saturday, you could do that. Or maybe you want to go to the Diamondbacks on Labor Day, because right now they have a Labor Day offer. You can get 50% off tickets to Dodgers at Diamondbacks. Massive game, mind you. The battle for the NL West.
Yeah, I was going to say battle
nuts.
For the division, right?
Like that could determine so much. So 50% off tickets for Dodgers at Diamondbacks game on Labor Day, exclusively on Game Time. There is a limited availability /supply, so get your tickets while they last. It is their Labor Day special. Listen, guys, they have everything from you. You can see the view from your seat. You can get the all-in pricing feature, which so many ticketing websites and apps do not do. You can get the lowest price guarantee, and if you find something lower, you get 110% the difference. I tried to find something lower for these concert tickets. I couldn't do it. I wanted my 110% back, but guess what? It was the lowest on Game Time. I couldn't do it. And also, on top of the 50% off, you can also get a deal by listening to this podcast. You can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, create an account, redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
Game time.
I love it. I also love our friends over at Circle K. We're obviously in Studio K, and you can see all the amazing snacks that we have back here. We got sour, we got savory, we got spicy, we got hot, we got cold.
Well, we don't have, we just have lukewarm back here, but we have hot and cold,
everywhere else. But they got it all over at Circle K. Not just great snacks, great drinks as well. And they've got savings, which is really what counts, guys. With Inner Circle, I'm not going to call it a new membership program because it's not new. It's first birthday.
One day away from being 1 year old.
Happy birthday to Inner Circle. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Inner Circle. Happy birthday to you. And
save 40 cents per gallon all day tomorrow. Come on.
Because it's Inner Circle's birthday, guys. Go sign up. Super easy. Download the app. It's a 60-second process, and it's not going to cost you a thing. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. Bum, 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 bum.
Bum, 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 bum.
I'm so ready for football, dude.
You want to talk
so
trenches?
Damn ready for football. Let's talk about the beef.
Get down and dirty.
Let's talk about the meat. You ready?
No.
You ready?
Wait.
Buckle up.
Now I'm ready.
Wait. Now we're ready to talk about the beef. Now we're ready.
You want to see who can eat these the fastest?
No, I don't want to do that because it's horrible audio. You can do it.
I'm not going to do it super fast. I'm pretty full, but maybe I'll just eat this. 6 grams of protein. It's not bad.
I was just saying we need to have the beef near us to talk about
we'll hold the beef.
If you want to eat the beef, then eat the beef, man. Right.
Okay, no, let's just talk about the freaking lines.
With the beef.
Let's talk about the lines, man.
Yes. Offensive line, defensive line for your Arizona State Sun Devils taking on the Wyoming Cowboys. This, for me, is I'm not going to say the weak spot, because I don't think it's necessarily the weak spot, but I do think if there is a part of this Arizona State defense that may have more of a challenge with its opposition, then it's going to be the ASU defensive line. Wyoming, as we've talked about multiple times this week, is returning 4 of its 5 starters from the offensive line last season. Now, look, this offensive line last year wasn't the greatest thing in the world. It was solid. Obviously, it had some solid running backs behind it. But this is a unit that should be better in theory simply because you get an entire year of chemistry under their belt. The interior is massive. Their center is just a unit with a great name. Noah Fafia, who wants to be Noah Fafita really bad.
He wants to be Noah Fafita. What the hell?
Tolofono, and then they have themselves a 314-pound guard at Jack Walsh.
That's a big boy.
Likely going to move from tackle to guard. So you're going to see a lot of interesting movement along that Wyoming offensive line. Ralph was talking on Monday about, I guess, a true freshman tight end for Wyoming transitioning to right tackle. We'll see if that happens. If that happens, then I think Arizona State is in a prime position. But as it stands right now, the ASU defensive line is a little bit of a question mark, simply because I don't know if you know who's going to go out there and be the superstar with Dorba kind of sitting out for 2 to 4 weeks.
It's a giant question mark, but not in terms of we don't know if there's any way they can get production. It's just we don't know exactly who it's going to be coming from. I think there's a lot of options for people who could go out there and actually make a big play. CJ Fight, Zach Swanson, Clayton Smith, Elijah O'Neal, like you had mentioned, I think it was earlier this week or late last week. He's had a really, really good camp. Roman Pitre. Jeff Clark has also had a good camp. Jacob Kingaika, people are really high on. Maybe Jamon Tapp. There's enough bodies there and there's enough talent there to talk yourself into at least a couple of those guys being able to step up. However,
somebody's got to do it.
But the reality is you just don't know. You just don't know, right? And you need to see it. So question mark isn't necessarily a bad thing or a hopeless thing. It's just more of we'll know more once this game ends and once we see more throughout the season.
Which of these defensive linemen do you want to see have the biggest game?
CJ Fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Kingaika. I really want to see Kingaika succeed, okay?
It's because he's a U of A transfer.
I think that's part of it. It's also because Mama Kingaika follows me on Twitter and likes and interacts with our stuff. So, you want to see
That's
that succeed. No, I think part of it is, coming from U of A, but also just the fact that I don't know, I just got a good feeling about the guy. Like, I think he's going to be good. I want to be right as well, selfishly. I'd like to see him and fight. But my real answer is all of them. I'd love to see Clayton Smith. I'd love to see Elijah O'Neal. I'd love to see Roman. I'd love to see Jeff Clark. Jamon Tapp, if he can get in the play. Zach Swanson, hometown kid. Come on.
I want to see Clayton Smith. Clayton Smith was here. He was a big part of this ASU defense last year. He got bigger alongside Prince Dorba. Obviously, Dorba's out. Clayton Smith now the real vet on this ASU defense, especially at that edge rushing position. Wherever this redshirt freshman or freshman left tackle, right tackle, wherever the freshman lines up, I want Clayton Smith on him. And I want Clayton Smith to go out there and bully him, to be honest with you, because I think that's what's going to get the rest of this Arizona State defensive line bought into the game.
Sure.
You've got a guy in Clayton Smith, a former 5-star, transferred from Oklahoma to Arizona State, had a solid season last year, got bigger, got faster, got better. Look what he can do in year 2 to open up the season. He can go out there and dominate a player that he is clearly better than. He does that. That signals a wave to the rest of this Arizona State defense that it's time to turn up the heat. And I think if he does that, then not just the ASU defensive line, but I think the rest of this ASU defense is going to thrive.
Yeah, I think they're going to definitely play off of each other. The whole defense, like you mentioned, really well.
Yeah.
And that is part of the reason why I want to do everything you can to suffocate them right at the beginning. Because you get those guys juiced and moving and feeling good, and then you can say, hey, go out there and do this and change that. And you know what? They're all like, all right, let's go. Right? Like, get some big time plays, get some big time stops. Don't let them drive down the field. Don't let them get any momentum whatsoever, and then go right at them. And I think you can do that, and you can say, hey, listen, go make a play. Clayton, go make a play, CJ.
Yeah.
Go make a play, Zach. Like, listen, Zach Swanson can move people. Okay? Like that. Don't get it twisted. Whether he plays or not, or a lot or not.
A lot or not.
A lot or not. New game. Coming on PHNX Sun
Kind of like
Devils.
hot or not, but we're just a lot or not.
Would you like a lot of this or none of it? A lot or not?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. That's fair.
Sacks.
Look,
a lot.
We've talked a lot about the defensive game plan in general. Obviously, this is not for us to decide, more for us to debate. That's going to be up to Brian Ward, Kenny Dillingham, and company to really figure out that entire, I'm not going to say mess, but just to figure out the game plan, I guess. But again,
intricacies.
There you go. Wyoming's coach Jay Sawvel again spoke earlier this week about Kenny Dillingham and really about his army of assistants.
Look, he's a really good coach. He's had a lot of success. Obviously to get to where he's gotten to at that age speaks volumes to what he's been able to do at previous stops. And look, they've got a really good staff all the way through between Coach Arroyo on offense and Coach Ward on defense, their assistants. And so, we realize the challenge in it, and it's a good school with good resources and a good coaching staff. So, it's to do that at that age, that's pretty unique.
Yeah, he's unique. He's good. He's your favorite coach's favorite coach. He's united the greatest high school coaches in the state of Arizona's history.
There you go.
On one staff.
United.
There really is. There's a lot to be said about this coaching staff in general, and I know
AZ Vengers.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Activate the Valley, the AZ Vengers. Listen, it's kind of funny because when it happens, you talk about it, and then I feel like sometimes it just gets like underrated. But you really do have
good coach.
Like 5 of the greatest high school coaches in Arizona State history. The state of Arizona, I don't know.
You got a good chunk.
You have a lot of them, right? And you put together a staff that even, we talked to people up at Camp T. I know I went to Camp T, shocker. And we were talking to people about the staff that Kenny had put together, and they're like, we don't think we've ever seen a staff relate to kids better. Yeah. So it's not just the fact that they're really good football coaches, but it's also the fact that they're really good people as well. And I'm really excited to see them turn this team to more of a success than last year and to continue to watch it grow. And I think it's a good sign when you have opposing head coaches being like, yeah, Kenny's great. The staff is great. Everything that's assembled is great. They're building it right. Like, those are all good signs.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Look, he didn't just have praise for Shamari. He didn't just have praise for Keyshaun.
He had praise for
Kenny and the
Anthony
staff.
Totri,
Yeah, of course.
daily listener of PHNX Sun Devils.
He also said that if there's one specific Sun Devil that he said if he wanted to come to Wyoming,
oh, dude, this made me
we'd
laugh.
have him. We'd absolutely have him. So this is who it is. He's going to take him from us.
I think their running back, I think Cam Scadaboo is a great player. He's one of my favorite people I've watched on video in recent times because he's so versatile. Shoot, a guy punted last year some for him. He runs it. He can throw it. He's a very physical football player. If he wanted to come here, you sign me up for that too. I mean, I just think the guy's a great player.
Over my dead body.
Not happening.
Over
Not
my dead
happening.
body.
Not happening. Not happening. I could say it 100 times.
Okay, I will say one thing.
Not happening.
I know it's not happening. I'm not saying that.
Not happening.
Low key though.
Shut the fuck up. Not
Cam
happening.
Scadaboo
Not
screams Wyoming
Not
football.
happening.
Screams Wyoming football.
Not happening.
I know that. Of course it's not happening, but am I wrong?
Not happening.
Like, if Cam Scadaboo transferred to Arizona State from Wyoming, that would make a lot of sense instead of Sac State. Right?
You want me to say it again?
No.
Not happening.
Well, I said no. You just don't care.
Not happening. No, you're right. I don't. But you know what I do care about?
What?
I care about all of you that want to be PHNX diehards. And all of you that are, we love you. And all of you that aren't, I want to love you, but I just need you to meet me halfway.
Hey, listen,
okay?
if you're here, we love you, right? But
meet
there are
me halfway.
tiers. There are tiers to our love.
There really are.
So messed
there
up.
really are. Hey, look, every parent has a favorite child. My favorite children are the ones that are PHNX diehards. I still love my children, all of you, but I just love the ones that are in the diehard Discord just a tad more. So
we love the ones that love us.
Become a PHNX diehard. Go to gophnx.com today. Click the little diehard tab, and it's going to tell you everything that you unlock when you become a PHNX diehard, which is a long laundry list of things, including discounts on events and merch, access to that diehard Discord that features a number of channels where there are PHNX diehards talking about all sorts of things from sun up to sun down. You are also going to get exclusive diehard only content, which is a ton of fun. You're also going to get a free t-shirt every single year or hat, right?
And we have a new revamped.
We do. We absolutely do. If you are interested in buying not just Arizona State gear, but gear in general, all you got to do is go to store.allcitynetwork.com. Get your hands on some of the newest PHNX, DNVR, CHGO, DLLS merch that we have out there. It is going to be a lot of fun. Sean in the chat just immediately coming to cancel me,
They're saying you're being classist.
There's levels to this, man.
Yeah.
There is absolutely levels.
Do we want to
to
do a quick hot or not one topic for Sean based off of the hot or not topics from last week? Because I got to know. He says he misses hot or not. So Sean.
What were the topics last week? Are you going to do bear
trust
meat?
me. Yeah. Sean, in the chat, let me know, hot or not, eating bear meat. You got to let me know. Okay. So we're going to see.
We're going to wait and see.
If you want some context, new producer K Coop Sports Coop just worked on a like an oil rig out in Alaska for like a summer.
Yeah,
and
dude's not an NPC.
A gold mine. What was it?
Yeah, gold mine.
Gold mine. Yeah, sorry.
An oil rig.
Sorry. He just screams.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah, he screams manual labor on an oil rig.
No, he does.
But they ran out of food and they had to hunt a bear and they ended up cooking the bear meat and then canning it. He said ice cold.
He gets it. Sean gets it.
All right. Well, that was a little hot or not for you, Sean.
Look, guys,
that's WTF am I
that's
eating a
going to
bear
do it
for
for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devil Show.
Survival.
Look, tomorrow's show is going to be jam-packed. We're going to have predictions. We've got a brand new segment that we're also going to be launching tomorrow.
I don't know what that sound was.
We're going to be doing hot or not tomorrow as well. Full edition. We're going to give you 3 players that need to go out there and have a massive game for Arizona State to get it done. That is on Thursday's show, so be there at 1:30 because it is going to be a lot of fun. Also, make sure, again, you're subscribed to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. We've got a ton of Sun Devil content that we are cooking up for you guys that you're going to see over the course of the next couple of days. And if you enjoy the show, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow the Blind Mouse, as always, at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. You can follow DJ Coop at K Coop Sports. We're 3 days away from kickoff.
3 freaking days, man.
Because Sean's here, can we just play the win music on the way out?
Give us a little win music.
It's just, I'm so ready. Just be prepared. We are going to play this on Saturday. I'm speaking it into existence. This will get played on Saturday. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Sun Devil fans everywhere, we appreciate you taking time out of your day.
Get me fired up.
Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button.
3 days.
Drop a 5-star review. And get ready for some Sun Devil football. Guys, that is going to
go.
Look, as always, go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.